So lots to do. So we're doing some work in Stan's aviary. Stan is Kyle's golden eagle who spends the summer here at the Falconry Centre, just chilling out. So he's got the leg of a deer. So he's having venison today. And that's keeping him busy while we're just titivating his aviary. So birds that are rested, it's much better if you can have a food chute where the food gets pushed from the other side. They don't see you coming with the food. A nice clean surface you can hose off. So he tends to play with a rubber matting. So Kyle's fixing that down. But of course, if you were to just feed from the front, when that bird's hungry, you've always got that bird jumping towards the front of the mesh and hanging on, trying to get food, or when it just sees you going by. So if you can feed hidden through a food chute, the bird doesn't know you're approaching. Of course, he's not going to hang on to the surface there. So always changing things at Icarus Falconry, always changes, always lots more to change. All about improving husbandry, identifying problems. Chain link fencing is something we inherited a lot of here, and this stuff does have its issues and problems, and a lot of it we've cut off and replaced with soft bounce netting, and we'll probably continue to do that as the years go by for sure. Swing perches, our birds love their swing perches. They really, really like them. Anyway, ferrets next. So we've just watched a local heron. There it goes. Just thinking about fishing the pond. Free food, but not good. Welcome to another vlog. Lots to show you, including a very beautiful new owl. Lots to see, but first I just want to go back in time and tell you a little bit about me, and I want to mention someone else. So sometimes when I'm at schools doing talks, someone in the school, a teacher obviously, or someone such will ask me, oh, what kind of education have you got? What qualifications have you got for this? I always say, literally, a lifetime of doing it and studying it. But on paper, my school qualifications are incredibly poor, and I'll tell you why. Not because I wasn't educated well, not because I'm an idiot. I'll tell you, in my mock exams, this is going back to a deep, distant past now, I actually really swatted up. I did loads of research, loads of, can't even think of the word now. What's it called when you swat for an exam? You know what I mean. Can't even think of the word. I did a lot of that studying, and I excelled in even topics like maths and physics, which really bored me. I went up in the groups, did really well. The following year, the real exam year, oh dear, I was in a false sense of security, and we had lots of free study time where we went to go to the library or find a quiet class and swat up for the up-and-coming exams. And me and my friend at the time, we kind of thought, oh, you know what, we did so well last year. We don't need to do all that studying and swatting up for the exams, all that revision. So we just went fishing and bunked off school in those. No, I never bunked off school for the heck of it, but in these bits where they said, very noisy monitor lizard, where they said, go and have an hour in the library doing some revision, we just sneaked off and went fishing. Well, that backfired, and I really flunked my end of year. It wasn't made any easier because I already had a job in a tropical fish and reptile shop, which at the time was my passion. Money's never really interested me, and it was all about doing something I loved at the time. Yeah, like really bad, including biology and rural studies. I think I got D's in them or something like that. That was the best grades I got. So really, really bad. But I was doing some planting. I was planting something up for my mum's birthday or Christmas, I can't remember now. And some leaves fell off an African violet in something I was display I was planting up. And I was watering now, I've got a wet foot now. And I was thinking, oh, I remember at school, I had Mr. and Mrs. Westmoreland. Mrs. Westmoreland, so at my upper school, we had a whole room full of guinea pigs. We had chickens. We had massive glass houses where you could learn about plant propagation, and we even had aquariums with things like pike in that I supplied. So we had a really good rural studies area, a really good biology area at school. Mr. Westmoreland taught the rural studies along with his wife, and she taught the plant side of it. And something I learned at school was all about propagating things like busy lizzies from seeds and cuttings, and leaf cuttings on things like African violets. And I just thought, oh, those leaves that fell off, I wonder if I can get them to grow like when I was at school. Look at that. So still to this day, I know something about propagating plants, thanks all to Mr. and Mrs. Westmoreland. Now, I bumped into Mr. Westmoreland some years ago, and I said to him, oh, I haven't seen you for years. And we just got on so well. It was really, really nice, to be quite honest, when you've not seen a teacher for decades. Because I forgot to say, he then went on to a local college, Malton College, which at the time was an agricultural college, and taught animal and plant things. And he asked me to set up some marine aquariums and some tropical aquariums in the classroom. And I then, on my days off on a Wednesday, used to go out there for free just to help out and maintain those aquariums. So we've stayed in touch for quite a bit after school, and then for decades we didn't. And I did hear, sadly, his wife passed many years ago now, but I bumped into Mr. Westmoreland fairly recently, and he said, what are you doing? I said, I go to schools. And I was so proud that, having been like his star pupil and then really flunking the exams, which I know made him cross at the time, he doesn't admit it now, to say, look, I did go on to use these skills, I did go on to work with animals and so on and so forth, invited him up to Icarus Falconry, and we've stayed in touch ever since. So I feel like I kind of, in my later years, harking back to a child, redeemed myself. So a little bit about me, but I just found it fascinating. I was just so pleased, really, like a nice memory that, thanks to Mrs. Westmoreland, I can still propagate African violets from leaf cutting. So really good to stay in touch. Going back to my early years, I remember right at the beginning of school, at primary school, teacher, I think it was Mrs. Cook, saying to me, what do you want to be when you grow up? Honestly, there's so much background noise, and I've got a very noisy plane. What do you want to be when you grow up? And I always said, I want to work with animals. I didn't really know in what context. I was a little primary school kid. In fact, it was called lower school then. But it has come true, even though I did 14 years as a print finisher to earn money, to raise a family in Durper House and all that kind of thing. Back at it now. Started working with animals. Now I'm ending, if you like, working with animals. My only other memory, I think, in Mrs. Cook's class was having to put things away in your drawer or something, bursting for a wee and having to put these things away. And I could go for a wee. And I can remember weeing my pants. Well, if anyone knows me, you know, my bladder's that big. I don't wee my pants anymore, but my goodness me, I've come close a few times. See you later in the video. So I've been assembling a greenhouse for Jackie, so the slugs can eat all of her vegetables in comfort and luxury. If you think assembling a greenhouse is boring and tedious, wait until you start fitting 3,000 miles of window seal. My God, I am so bored. I'm going to the reptile shop in a minute to get some food for my animals, just to alleviate the boredom. Let me introduce you to something new. The Taiwanese beauty snake, picked up from my cousin Pete. He's reared her from a child, concentrating on his Vietnamese blue beauties now. She's so tame and friendly. He said she'd be great for schools. Chunkiest snake I've ever seen. And incredibly, incredibly heavy. But beautiful species. I've always been taken by the blue beauties. I have cave racers as well, but Taiwanese, never been something on my radar. Very pretty girl and a very good ambassador snake. She may even spend the summer living outside. These are a tried and tested species outside in the UK from late spring to early autumn. And at least one chap has kept these outside in the UK all year round with a good 2 foot deep sheltered hibernaculum inside their enclosure. Look at the colour on that. Oh, it's escaping. Sue's tidied up the nectar border. She's pulled any of those self-set plants back in line, because this is a walkway, of course. I'll have some wood chip down again this year. Looking pretty in there. Slow worm again there. So, have a look. The first cut of the year, thanks to Kieran, who's popped up this afternoon, ridden around on the mower. The mower is, I think, 5 years old, and it had its first birthday ever. It did start to play up at the end of last year, so it's had a full-on service. Everything that's been playing up, like the blades, been intermittent on their working, all done. And Kieran's just test drove the mower in this part of the Falconry Centre. Doesn't look perfect yet, but awful lot better than that winter shaggy grass. It is drying out now. Great, because it's Easter very, very soon. Probably just over a month away. I'm not sure, haven't checked the diary. A late Easter this year, which is great for us. It means more chance of settled weather. Everything's dried out from the wet winter, and it gives us that bit more time to get everything ship shape. Now, Sue, Roy and Jess have been up at the Falconry Centre, and they've been here pretty much every weekend through the winter. So they've kept on top of a lot of stuff. There's still some dead stuff there that's going to be cut down. Why haven't they done it? Are they lazy volunteers? Are they lazy gardeners? Don't be ridiculous. This stuff provides winter seed for goldfinches, and it also provides an absolute myriad of homes for tiny mini beasts, as well as the shrews and the voles that inhabit the Falconry Centre. Lots and lots of insect life, invertebrate life, hibernating and sheltering under here. That's why it's always important to try not to cut down all your herbage at the end of the summer and tidy up your garden. Let the bulk of the frost go, and then cut it back as things are flushing through for spring. So it'll all look really good soon. But to be honest, first mow of the year, almost a spring day, about 16 degrees today. Bitterly cold just 2 days ago. That's why it's spring, isn't it? It's seesawing between winter and summer. The primroses are out. Keep an eye on this page, keep an eye on the YouTube, keep an eye on the Facebook, ahead of the Easter opening, the grand opening of our weekends, which is on Sunday, Easter and Bank Holiday Monday. All the gardens, the tea room, the grounds of Holdenby, the Falconry Centre, the menagerie with Roxy the fox, the ferrets, the polecats, some snakes, British wildlife, falconry, birds of prey, animal encounters, and on Sunday and Monday, the local reptile team, reptiles and creepy crawlies, to put it in a very commoner's way of putting things. Aria, they're here. Amphibians, reptiles, insects and arachnids. Aria, they're here all day, all weekend of the Sunday and the Monday. Bring your kids along, bring yourself along. Come and meet tarantulas. Come and meet all kinds of weird things, as well as snakes, lizards. And if they're not your thing, don't worry. Most of the time, they're tucked away in a separate room. Easter Sunday and Monday is a real all the family thing here at Holdenby and Icarus Falconry. Don't miss it. If you haven't been here before, goodness me, don't miss it. Come and see all kinds of stuff and let us entertain you. So a lovely spring evening, not a puff of wind, the smell of freshly cut grass. We still haven't done anything out in the menagerie area. We've done a fair bit to the menagerie, but we haven't cut the grass. So it's had its first cut. Absolutely the most peaceful place to be. It really is at Icarus Falconry. We've stopped mowing. The gardening team in the gardens have stopped mowing. They've gone home. I'm going home in a second. He's had his winter rest. Emily's going to get him back up in the air this week, or next week now. Zeus is in the van. He's coming to do a talk next. Got an evening talk. It's the owly time of the evening. The little tiny little owl. Rambo. Look at that. Total Jack Russell of the owl world. Look at that. It's about 5 inches tall. It's giving us the evils. Whistler here. A milky eagle owl. And a new owl. I don't want to scare this owl because it hasn't been handled for a while. An Asian brown wood owl. Couple of years old. How beautiful is that owl? So big news on the channel. Luna, the big European eagle owl, she's gone to a new home because she's always been too unreliable to fly on our experience days. And by unreliable, now and again she'd fly off and spend a day sitting in a tree, and that makes her reliability for any birds we've got out tethered for the day and any birds we're flying. And she just could not get 85% reliability. She's gone to where she's going to be a really good educational bird in a big aviary, and by exchange this beautiful brown wood owl has come to Icarus Falconry because although this girl here has worked really well on experience days in the past, her remit was actually to do outside events, outside birds of prey displays, and she hates travelling in a travel box. So by the time she got to a destination, she point blank refused to do any work. Absolutely stunning. You be quiet. I'm not going closer to get through the wire because she'll get scared. She's only been in there a day or two. Look at that. So the Asian brown wood owl, a beautiful species. Hopefully here on our experience days in the near future, you'll get to work with that wonderful, wonderful owl. But for now, she's just settling in. So big news here at the Falconry Centre. Roscoe, the European eagle owl, is still here, but beautiful big Luna, she's gone, hopefully, to a more suitable place. Of course, the great grey owl, looking as stunning as ever. Lots of things we want to get done in these aviaries this year. Certainly want to be planting all the sides out. Spot's gone to bed. The yellow-billed kites, they're chilling out. Everything now just quietening down and chilling out. Hello, you. Just before the onset of the gloaming, when I'm sure things are going to get a bit chilly. But what a beautiful day it's been. Kyle's golden eagle Stan, he's up there. We can't see him, it's too dark in the back there. He's up there. He's going to spend summer resting in the aviary. And the spectacle owl, Specs, superstar of our experience days, nodding off, having an evening snooze before the nocturnal hours. So all going well, all looking good. We're open for our experience days already, and the Sunday openings will be starting at Easter. So 12 days to go, give or take, and we should have false water cobra eggs 2025, and a snake that's going to need quite a lot of conditioning. Remember, this year the plan was not to breed from her. The market in the UK for snakes is so quiet that, you know, you don't want stuff that people don't want. I'll soon find homes for them, but nothing's in great demand. Unfortunately, there's a divider that keeps the male and female apart here, and she breached that divide for a session. So more false water cobras this year, but I really didn't want to breed her this year, and I wanted also not to take that body condition away. A lot of eggs like this can take an awful lot of condition out of these snakes for sure. Time to check the bees. I'll turn you around. So it's a cool day, but it's not too cold, so it's not going to shock them too much opening the hive. Ow, there's a few down here where they've cleaned out the dead from over the winter. But it's time to see what's going on. On the last hot day, there was quite a few outside. So we'll see what's what and what's actually in there. Well, this girl, very old now, wasn't intending ever to breed from her again, and haven't bred from a little while. I don't know, 3 years, 2 years. Look how much body mass she's lost. So she started looking like she was going to produce eggs anyway. Unfortunately, snakes will produce infertile eggs, and even if you don't want to breed from them, sometimes looking like she's producing follicles quite heavily. And I thought, oh, here we go, a dud clutch. Put a male in with her, who are presumably fertilise eggs, although they do sometimes produce from matings in previous years even. But anyway, she's produced eggs, and here they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know. So what's that? 3, 6, 7, but very large eggs. So not a big clutch, but a very healthy clutch of eggs. So wasn't producing Pueblan milk snakes this year. Now it looks highly likely that we will be. He's settled in now and getting a lot calmer, using all of the layers. So always asleep down in the hide right at the bottom. There's plenty of poo in there. Using all the different layers. He likes it up there because he gets the heat and he can hide. But look at him basking away, and we're here. Certainly settled into his new enclosure. And this works a treat for a bigger bath, where you can turn a hose on, drain it out, pour half a bucket in to let it swish out and drain out, and chuck it in there. It's working a treat. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out, actually. Wow-wee! Wow!
Is he licking you? It's got a rough tongue, hasn't it? Hello, baby. Are you licking everything?
Look, you being a scaredy
Grandma.
pants.
Think some an ice cream. Hello, beauty. Hello, babies. Yeah, they're babies. They say cuckoo caca. They don't mean it. They say meh. Don't they? Meh. So that one's still kind of attached to its mum a bit, is it?
Yeah, no.
Oh, well, look, it must have snapped off.
They've just been born, have they?
Yeah. Say lamb. Can you say lamb? Hello, beauty. They're playing, they're jumping. Want to come up and have a look? Playing, he's doing playing, isn't he? Look. Jumping up and down. Hello. This brown one still looks a bit pregnant, doesn't it? Ah. It's jumping on its mummy's back, isn't it?